Hey, Natsu here. Today I'm going to do part 4 of my What If Deku Was an Angel Girl. Half angel girl. So, in the last part, Izuka. No, Izuka found. Was able to do her. Finally get her healing. Izuka, Ochako, and Vayo, all three of them are a lot stronger than All Might. Izuka is a lot stronger than All Might in his prime, while the other two are just a lot stronger than All Might basically right now. As well as Izuka being weaker than Ochako, when Ochako actually uses her Super Saiyan form. Since for the week where they are out of school, they went with All Might in the forest because first All Might wanted to um, try and get Ki, since he is healed by Izuka. I don't remember if I said it, but I think I did. So he's able to use back his full power without time limit, but he's still trying to learn Ki. So they went in the forest for the week to try and basically teach him the basic, and for Izuka to basically train herself a lot stronger, while Vayo and Ochako are training All Might. The reason I'm placing it like that is because Ochako for a while decided to help All Might directly, without wanting to train for now, simply because she knows she's a lot stronger. Reason is that, with this new transformation, she doesn't know how much the multiplier is, but she knows she basically demolished the Nomu that was making it hard for even Izuka. While Vayo is basically just trying to like Piccolo, he meditates a lot, and basically he's trying to teach All Might to meditate to basically increase his Ki control. While Izuka, what she does is just basically train. And while she was training and that the others were trying to teach All Might, after a bit, Izuka started to, she can feel Ki all around her. But for the first time, she decided to actually try to sense the strongest people around her. No, I'm not making her find All for One. Let's just say because of where he's placed, let's say he's like in a bunker or something, his Ki isn't able to be felt by Izuka, but she feels someone high in the sky, but like over any planes that can fly. At first she thought, oh, there's probably a space shuttle that's been launched, and then she just thought, no, not where they are. They would not launch a space shuttle from there. So she decides to go back to Ochako, All Might, and Vio and tell them what she felt, which she basically pointed where it is, well, in the way from where it is, so Ochako and Vio can try to feel it, which they do, and when they sense it, they do feel that it's kind of strong. Not as strong as All Might, but still around like half his power, which is extremely big for this world. So you might think it's probably or that it's overpowered or that it's way too weak, but she's a human, okay? What she is, well, basically, they decided to go there, basically flying and bringing All Might with them. Super high, Izuka, Ochako, and Vio don't have any problem breathing. Yes, well, as much as All Might, I would say. They basically get to the place, and it's the lookout. And then a girl come out of the castle that is on it, and when she arrives in front of them, she greets them and says that her name is... Okay, yeah, sorry. Like I was saying, the girl came out of the castle, palace that is on it, and basically greets them, and she presents herself as Himari, the guardian of Earth. They ask her what she's doing here, basically, which she basically explained that she acts a bit like the god of the planet, mostly just kind of looking at it and making sure that nothing would be there to actually destroy the entire planet. She doesn't act against anything that isn't actually on a lower level than that. But she was looking at all of them. Since All Might had an extremely strong power, and Vio was an alien, with the two others basically being half-breed. She doesn't tell them that they're alien, since they kind of don't know yet. They know they have a lot of power, but they don't know they're aliens. She does, though. Oh, hell that she does. So All Might basically ask her, because, I'm going to go look for an image, because I had a plan for how she basically looked like. I just have to go back and check. Okay, yeah, she looks like this, but about I think her size was about 5 feet tall only. Well, 5 feet 4 to be exact. But yeah, she was small basically. And she looks like this. So she basically explained to them that she was watching them, seeing how they grow, and seeing that they were becoming stronger and stronger. Vio basically asked her if she's suppressing her power, because if she's supposed to be the goddess of the planet, why is her power so low? And she basically just said, "Oh, it's not that my power is low. For this world, I'm actually extremely strong. The problem is that you are actually a lot stronger than most, which actually makes it pretty impressive. Normally, humans only get that strong with something like he did." Really sorry about that. I'm pretty sure if you were, if you had earphones in, you lost your ears, and it's not even that high. What the hell? Yeah. So basically, she was saying that for humans, since they didn't even know themselves that they were aliens, she basically said that they had a lot of potential. Even All Might had a lot. Even if she doesn't count the quirk at hands. Which All Might basically asks how she knows about it. Which she decides to explain that since a great amount of time, a lot of Guardian were chosen, um, and that she is the latest one. Since the quirk arrived, the Guardians were a lot more powerful, but that she is the most powerful one yet because of the quirk she has. She was born with a mix of two quirks, a slow aging quirk, and the second quirk is basically something that's um, kind of like a Zenkai, but not really the same. The longer you fight against someone, the stronger you get. Basically, if the person you're fighting is stronger than you, um, if you're able to stay conscious over the fight, you're going to get stronger and stronger to be able to beat him. The person doesn't stay with the power though. After a certain amount of time, well, over time afterward, you basically, your strength go back to what it was before. Her power is that strong constantly, and if she fights against someone that would be stronger than her, then her power would increase, as long as she's not knocked out. Um, so, as well as having to be the Guardian of the Earth, she had to train a lot. And she's been the Guardian of the Earth for around 50 years now. Which All Might basically looked at her and said, 50 years? You, you look young for that. Which she basically says that, well, firstly, her slow aging quirk is a lot stronger than the one that um, her parent had. Well, let's say her dad or something. And that her dad actually was from the first generation. Sorry, someone joined the Discord. Um, like I was explaining, her aging basically is a lot stronger than that of her father's, which he was in the first generation. She was actually from the. She would be from the time she was born in the second generation, I think. No, wait. Or the second or the third generation, because I think there are that Deku is on the fourth, is from the fourth generation. So yeah, basically, her quirks are like, well, she is one of the first to have the quirk of both of her parents, and they are extremely powerful for her. Like, her dad basically was aging like 5 times slower than a normal human, but um, he had the drawback that his strength was also increasing in the same way, and he basically died because of that as well, since he wasn't able to train and he got into an accident. Her mom, on the other hand, is another story, and yeah, so I'm not going to talk about her because anyway it's not going to enter in. But her um, aging is about twice that of her dad, except that she doesn't have the drawback of increasing her strength and other things the same at the same speed. So she can train and increase her strength a lot more. Basically, she looks 10 even though she's 50. But basically, it's because her power kind of kicked in like later in life, basically. But yeah, basically, she aged just slower. As well as she says that she's 50, but in reality, she's a bit older than that. She's 50 for Earth years. Because, yes, there is a time chamber on this lookout that also has the 1 year inside, 1 day outside. But compared to the time chamber in Dragon Ball Z, it doesn't really have a time limit, and she spent about 4 or 5 years in it just to train to get this strong. Basically, training constantly in an environment that basically just kind of harms you. Basically, that's the reason she's actually that strong, in fact. Because her body had to increase her strength to survive where she was. And since she was actually training at the same time, over time it basically became part of her own strength. And yeah. So basically, she explains them that that's why she's that strong. Um, All Might ask her why she let them actually come here, since if she's not supposed to um, act for anything except things that are in extreme danger, why did she let them come here and stuff like that? Which she basically explains that it's not that she cannot talk with people or act if she wants to. It's more that she kind of has to take in consideration that any type of villain isn't what she's fighting. Basically, that's it. So she can still talk with people and help them, but she's not obligated to do so. For them, though, she basically told them about the time chamber, Oh yeah, also, a small detail that I'm going to change about this one. In this one, people... Well, she used it and basically didn't age for the 5 years that she went in. Which at first they thought it was because of her quirk, and I'm pretty sure that other people, well, you might have think the same way. But I'm going to say that you age outside of it, like you still age for a day, but your mentality still advance at the time of the inside of the time chamber. So your body doesn't actually age in it differently. Basically, 1 year inside the time chamber, your body aged from 1 day. But only for this one because something will happen in it for a while. Because she basically explains how the time chamber works and tell them that, oh yeah, if you go inside of it, your body ages the same way as it would outside, but you still spend the entire year inside of it. That's just a small change from Dragon Ball. Anyway, I've made a lot. Like, oh yeah, the angels actually can fight if they want to. Basically, that's another thing that I'm adding. Well, changing. So, that's how I'm explaining the reason they're not going to age that much, as well as why um, One for All will not quit All Might's body that fast, even though he's basically going to train in his normal body without using One for All to basically increase his normal strength. So, yeah, purely they ask her why she's telling them that, and she basically tells them that they're trying to make him grow stronger, but it takes time to do that. They don't have that long left of training. While they're trying to get stronger or to gain control of their power to become better heroes. She actually cannot interfere directly for small villains, but she can still help people if she wants to, and she thinks they're worthy of it. She tells All Might that it's going to be hard in it for him. For the others, it might be a bit less hard, since All Might is still, well, stronger than what the human were in Dragon Ball Z when they fought against, um, well, basically he's stronger than what they were fighting the Saiyan. He's not as strong as the Saiyan themselves, but he was stronger than the humans, I mean. But yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, he's going to have a massively hard time in it. But she tells them that as long as Izuka is there, she can basically heal them. So it won't actually kill them to be in it. So like that, they will be able to train longer. So Vio basically think there's something wrong with it. And everyone's basically just think, well, Ochako and Izuka are basically thinking that's awfully nice of her. And that's a really good thing. All Might is a bit less thinking that it's super nice because he's just thinking there's something wrong with this, which there isn't actually. And Vio is actually thinking that, well, it's all a trick, there's a problem, which once again, there is not. It's actually really that she just wants to help them get stronger, simply because she is sensing that something is coming to Earth. Basically, like I said in the last episode, well, part, um, there are aliens that are going to come. Um, All for One is going to make stronger Nomus, and right now she knows that something is coming to Earth, and they need to be stronger than what they are right now. So without the time limits, and as well as them aging, body aging, as well, just like they would on the outside, they can stay in there for as many years as they want. The only problem is that they will get stronger, but basically there is still a limit that I'm putting. And she's basically going to tell them about it. But for now, she basically told them that for the day they can do it, go in it. She's going to explain more thing afterward, the next time they come. Which they basically go in it, even though All Might and Vaio aren't sure about it. They already know that they're stronger than her, so they're not thinking that much about it. Simply thinking that if something is truly wrong, they're going to be able to get out of it. So after a bit, um, they enter it. Let's say let's say they still have a full 24 hour before they have to go. Well, a bit more than that. But basically, they decide to go a perfect 24 hours. So they go in it, and All Might feels it. He know it's hard on him. Ochako and Vaio are being pushed down a lot less than All Might, but they still feel it since there is a bigger gravity. The temperatures are extremely hot and cold, depending on the time it is. And just the air is extremely rough. So basically, for the first 2 weeks, it's basically them trying to adapt to the place. Izuka and Ochako being the two first that adapts completely to it. Vaio close behind like 3 or 4 days afterward. He's finally able to use it, but All Might, it takes him about 2 full months. Basically, they're all just training ki, like meditating and stuff like that for that time. Trying to actually control fully. And All Might was able to increase it, and compared to Vidal, who only took around a week or so, it took him around, an entire month to finally be able to use ki a bit. After that, he just started trying to learn how to fly mostly at first. Then after the 2 months, he was able to move correctly, kind of, in it. And then they started training a lot more. Ochako and Vaio basically told Izuka to training for herself, because she knows how to control ki extremely well, but She, when she tries to explain something, nobody gets it because she's explaining in too much detail in a way that basically makes it hard for her to, well, for the others to basically get it. So basically, she trains around 13 hours a day, then does key training with everyone else for another amount of time, and then they go to sleep and sleep around 8-7 hours before going back to the training. All Might in that time did not use One for All at all for the entire year, basically, so that he would increase his normal body, which started getting muscle a bit. Um, Basically compared to what he looks like when he's not buffed up. He has more meat on his bones, which also makes it so that it boosts instead his power when in All Might form, since he basically buffs up and his power is also augmented with that. So now for the power levels when they get out of it, All Might's able to use Ki kind of like the three others, a lot less powerful for sure, but he basically augmented his strength when he's buffed up to around 1.5 times what he had before, which he's able to use 100% anytime he wants now without causing more harm to his body. But now he's basically not using it that much anyway when he doesn't need it. Ochako basically doubled in strength because in physical strength. She augmented a lot more than that because of the key that she augmented. Since Izuka was doing around 13 hours of physical training per day, while the others were basically doing 14 hours of meditating and key control per day, not physical strength training. Still, they increased it by a huge amount for their key because they were mostly meditating. They're nowhere near what Izuka increased her strength in. Ochako basically almost increased it by like 5 times for now. Her total strength is basically increased when she's using everything at once. She's basically around 7 to 8 times stronger, more closely to the 8th time. She can then add Super Saiyan on top of that. Right now I'm talking with 100% of One for All, that she's about 8 times stronger. For Vio, that's a lot different. His power didn't increase as much as Ochako because, well, he's not a Saiyan. But he still increased it by a huge amount. Around 4 times the strength. Because since they weren't doing a lot of physical training and mostly doing key control, literally not increasing their key but a little key control, the only strength they were gaining was when they were sparring for around like a small amount of time a day. Like I think there's 2 hours left for them to do that. So not a lot, basically. Um, so yeah. Now we go to the strength that Izuka gained. Because of the huge amount of physical training that she was doing, she didn't learn yet to create object and stuff and do well go at light speed, even though it's many times faster than that. Um, yeah, her strength still increased by about 20 times, which is humongous for her. All she wants is to be stronger than her dad, or comparable to his strength. All she knows from what his mom told her, her mom told her, his her dad can easily lift a building, probably with a single finger, without even looking as if he was stressing it. So Izuka really needs to get stronger. This place can help a lot. So after the 24 hours total, they get out of it. They don't seem to have changed that much, except that they gained strength, and All Might gained muscle in his skinny form, as well as being able to fly, send ki blast. You get the point. So when they go back to school, firstly, All Might doesn't need to be transported this time. They're able to go a lot faster, except that since All Might is there, they cannot go at the max of their speed. They can still go extremely fast though, but yeah. Since Vidal was able to keep up after like some weeks of training only, so kind of really, really good. Like, they were flying fast. Not yet at max speed, but the wind was strong for them. So, yeah. Now, All Might trained for an entire year to control his ki. He was finally able to learn how to fly after a month and some. Um, so yeah, they got stronger, faster, more powerful. All Might can fly. He's healed, and he's basically training. Well, he was training to basically gain access to more power, because he knows that One for All is going to leave him. So since now he can actually increase his body mass easily because he wasn't able to because of the injury. Now he's going to try and become All Might 24/7 without One for All. He doesn't even know if it's possible, but it might still happen. So yeah. When they get back to the class, everyone basically asks them how the training was with All Might, because basically after a while, well, after like 2 days, Bakugo went to ask Enko where Izuka was. She basically just told him that her and two of Izuka's friends were with All Might training, and he basically said it to someone else in class that said it to someone else, well, to more people, that said it to everyone. So they basically all know that they were with All Might. So after a bit, basically, they just said that they trained for a good amount of time. During that, like the entire week was really well intense. And then Isa would tell them that they have a full week of training because after that it's going to be at the sports festival, which all three of them, Vaio, Ochako, and Izuka, basically just automatically started thinking, oh, more training, huh? Ooh, we could go back to the lookout. Which, after that, basically they went to talk to, well, Himari basically, when they arrived, told them, well, asked them what they were here to do. Which they explained that they had another week of training and that they wanted to go in it for that week, even though they still have to go to school. But they decided to just try and go in it. Which she told them that there is a problem with doing that. The longer you stay in it, um, well, you can stay for 1 or 2 years easily in it. It's still it's hard on the body and stuff, but after a while, it can start having some after effects, I should say. What I'm talking about is basically, well, the thing to go against the modification of, oh yeah, you still only age from a day after staying a year in it. The longer you stay in the room, um, just like for real life, if you don't do something for long enough, you forget about it. Even if you try to remember it, you start forgetting about it. Basically, she tells them that the longer you stay in the room, without coming out, the faster you start forgetting things. Which they basically go in the room, then wait a bit, like do 2 or 3 years. They're going to start forgetting some of the small things that aren't really important. If they come out, stay outside for only an hour and go back, it will continue from the same place. Basically, you need around a day or two to basically reset yourself to Earth time, as she calls it. Because if you stay, let's say, for an entire year outside of the room, unless you're basically, unless you literally have everything written down, or that you're passing everything that you have in your memory every day, you're going to lose a lot of things. Practically everything that isn't something you think about every day. So, there is a limit that you can use it over time, because if not, you start forgetting stuff. That's basically the counter to the first thing, which is that you don't age um, at the same time that the room does. Still makes it a lot more useful than the one in Dragon Ball Z that makes you age 1 year faster, and that they only had 2 days in it. But there's a pretty massive drawback that if you overlook it, can damage a lot of stuff for your life. Like, the first thing that would be forgotten is probably something like a password that you have memorized to muscle memory and stuff like that. So yeah, basically don't stay in it for too long. That's the point. Like, a year is fine. 2 years, okay, kind of. But after that, you start forgetting stuff, and then more, and then more, and then more. So yeah, those are basically the modification to it. One, they only age like the outside world, and two, they lose memory. So hope you like this one. Um, I know I mostly talked about what the drawbacks for what the room was and how different it was and how identical it was at the same time for some aspects. But yeah, so hope you liked it. Leave a like if you did. Natsu out.